I am no longer a video game seller. I'm done with it. I'm done. I'm selling all my video games that I have listed on eBay. I had about 3,000 listed, and I'm down to about 800. Some of those are lots, so maybe there's a bit more in there involved. If you're curious what I'm doing and why I'm not looking at the camera hardly, I'm shipping out postcards. I don't know, like 5 to ship out, so it'll take me probably 10 minutes to do that while I talk. But I have to get it done, and then I have to take all these postcards out of their sleeves. Ugh, terrible. Why am I doing that? Well, we can talk about that later, but what you have to know really for this video, what you care about is, well, why is Blake done selling video games? Should I be done selling video games? Should I be, is it time to end that chapter in my resale business? And for most of you, probably not. I'm doing this. I'm done selling video games for, I think I can break it down for like two main reasons, two main causes for it. We can even do three. Heck, I'll just go all day. First one is I found something better. I found several things better than selling video games. Other ways to make money that I make more than selling video games. And then in terms of resale, I make much more money selling postcards than I do video games. Isn't that kind of crazy? I feel like I never would have thought that. I guess I started in January, so I never would have thought that in January. It's May. Less than 6 months ago. I never would have thought that. I've watched other postcard sellers on YouTube talk about postcards, and what they do is they have a very in-depth knowledge. And I don't have that about postcards. I don't really know what's valuable. I don't know a lot of the terminology, but I can make more money selling those, more profit, not more gross, but more profit, than I can selling video games. Because the way I sold video games is I bought them on auctions. I bought them from Shop Goodwill, or onebid.us, or liquidbidding.com, or sometimes Public Surplus would have them. Sometimes High Bid would have them. There's tons of auction houses, or occasionally I would find like buy it now listings, and I'd buy those there and I'd resell them that way. And that's why I had this machine right here. This machine, which I probably should sell, if we're being totally honest. I probably should sell that, or at least sell my smaller one back there that I've used to resurface tens of thousands of video games between the two of them. I should sell that because I'm not going to use it anymore. Why? Well, because there is a lot of competition to buy these lots, much more than it used to be. It used to be I could buy 100 Nintendo Wii games that I could then sell for about $1,000, probably gross revenue, maybe more, maybe less, for like $300 on shopgoodwill.com. And that's just gone. That's going for between $400 and $500 now. The market. There are so many people who are trying to do this, want to do this. I don't know. Selling video games specifically. We'll call them low value games because they're going to be games that typically sell for between $10 and $30 per. There are so many people willing to do that the margins are just non-existent. And if you have a warehouse, you can't really pay for your warehouse on those kinds of margins. The margins on postcards, conversely, are like thousands of percent. They're way higher, huge. 10 cents into $15 is a typical postcard sale. Whereas for video games, it was $3 and change into $15, and then there's fees and shipping. And you can't ship video games in envelopes like you can postcards. You could for a while. eBay didn't clamp down on sending video game discs, as first-class envelope until a month or two ago. But that's neither here nor there. The second reason I'm done with it is because it's too much work. Resurfacing games takes a lot of time. I don't have the automatic EcoPro machine. I have the manual semi-automatic. I don't know what they call it in their marketing literature. It takes too much time. It really is a labor-intensive thing. I know a lot about video games, so I can easily go through them and sort them. I wish I had the kind of knowledge for postcards I have of video games or that I have of sports cards, but I don't. That's kind of what happens when you invest years into selling something. Even like 2 years ago, selling bulk video games or buying bulk, selling individual was extremely profitable. I think I made like, some months $10,000 or $15,000 around like Christmas. But that's just, gone for now. I don't know if it'll come back. I don't know what's going on. I'm always going to be inclined to say like, oh, the economy's doing bad, so there's more people going to self-employment, side hustle type stuff. But I don't have any stats on that, so I'll let you decide if that's what's going on. So there's better ways to make money. It's a lot of competition. It's a lot of work. I think that really does cover it as to why I'm done selling video games. Now I'll give you advice if you still want to do this. There are some good ways to make money doing it still. I think the best way to make money as a video game seller is to focus on key titles. What are key titles? Well, I'll give you an example of a few. Mario Kart, Wii Sports, NCAA Football 14. Even with the new one coming out, I'm positive NCAA Football 14 is not going to considerably lose value if it does at all. And I have a video that I posted years ago to prove that I've always believed that. Focus on key titles, flip key titles, be okay with like $5 to $10 profits on video games. So if you sell Wii Sports for $50 on Amazon, that means you're probably netting about $37 around there, give or take. Be okay buying it on eBay for including tax and shipping and all that stuff. If you are paying tax, you shouldn't be if you're planning on doing this, on a large scale. Be prepared to pay $35 or not. That's a bit high. $30 and make $8 on your $30 investment. That's kind of what I see being the most profitable in terms of overall profit. You cut down your margins, you find out the key titles where everyone's buying those games. It isn't hard to do. If you just type in Wii games on Amazon and see what the best sellers are, that's a pretty good way of doing it. Maybe I'll eventually get around to figuring out some way to automate that process, but probably not unless I charge money for it, because I'm not selling games, so why would I do it for free? That's the way you're going to do it to make money. Buying them locally is okay. If you have a relationship with a pawn shop or a thrift store or whatever, or clean out service, where you're buying the scratch games or the poor condition games and you're resurfacing them, that's a whole different business model. I wouldn't pay more than $1 per game, to be totally honest, because it is kind of labor intensive. But I think those are the methods that still work. I think buying auctions of games on eBay and reselling them or buying them online, if you want to do it at scale and make, $50 an hour doing it, I think those days are gone. I'd say probably you're making closer to $15 an hour. I would guess when everything's taken into account. Maybe you can slim that down if you're extremely efficient at listing, or if you have quantity listings where you're only updating how many you have. I'm sure that you can do a really good job with that. But the big players I see who are making $100,000 to over $1 million, million plus, are not doing it that way. At least not as their primary business model. They're mostly looking for key titles, selling key titles, treating it, like really hardcore arbitrage, and being okay with a 20% profit margin. Does that sound like fun to you? If it does, do it. Keep doing it. I'm not saying you should quit. I'm saying I did. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.